Hi, this is Banu. This presentation is about internals of ASM. In this presentation, I'll be discussing about how the ASM instance manages the metadata internally and the different types of metadata that is available. Before we actually start our journey to understand internal data structures of ASM, let's have a quick recall of how ASM instance is different from the database instance. We all know that we have two different types of Oracle instances. One is the database instance and the other one is the ASM instance. We can differentiate these two instances with the help of a parameter called instance underscore type. So by setting the instance underscore type equal to ASM, we are identifying the instance of type ASM, and when we define the instance underscore type equal to RDBMS, we are defining the instance is of type database instance. ASM instance is used to manage the metadata inside the disk groups. The ASM instance is similar to the database instance. It has its SGA and the background process just similar to that of database instance. ASM instance manages the disk groups. It mounts the disk groups using the parameter called disk underscore string. From this slide, we can understand that an ASM extent is a collection of or a set of allocation units, and similarly the ASM file is a set of ASM extents. Let's start our journey with the understanding the allocation unit. We call it as AU. ASM allocates space in channels called AU. AU is the fundamental space unit and it's the most granular level of allocation at the disk. Every ASM disk is divided into allocation units. When a disk group is created, allocation unit size can be set with the parameter AU underscore size. From version 11.1 and later, the allocation unit size can be 1 MB, 2, 4, 8, 16, 32 and 64 MB. The default size is 1 MB, whereas in Exadata environment, the default size is 4 MB. We can have different AU sizes of disk groups. For example, we can create a disk group DG1 with an AU size of 4 MB, and we can have another disk group called DG2 with an AU size of 16 MB. So based on our environment and the requirement, we can create disk groups of different AU sizes. Now let's come to the next data structure, ASM extents. ASM extents consists of one or more allocation units. An ASM extent is a set of allocation units. In the current slide, the green rectangle box is a collection of allocation units, individual allocation units. We call this set of allocation units together as an ASM extents. We have two different types of extents. One is physical and the virtual extents. The extent sets in an external redundancy disk group, we have only one physical extent, whereas in external redundancy we don't have any failure groups, and hence there will not be any mirroring that happens at the disk group level. So in this case, we only have one physical extent for an extent set, whereas in normal redundancy we have two failure groups. Hence we'll have two physical extents as part of one virtual extent, or we call it as a virtual extent or extent set. In the current slide, we can see that the green rectangle box is one physical extent, and the copy of that extent lies in the other disk of the same failure group. That is identified in red color. We all know that the replication, the mirroring in ASM is at the extent level. So for every extent of a file is mirrored on the available disk. In a high redundancy disk group, where we have three failure groups, and the extent set is a set of three physical extents. In the current slide, the green rectangle box is a set of allocation units, and it has the copy of this extent in the next two disks, identified in red color. These three physical extents together called as an extent set or a virtual extent. The next data structure that is available is ASM files. As I said earlier, ASM file is a set of ASM file extents. The ASM file is striped and spread across all the disks that are available as part of a single disk group. Extent size is always equal to the allocation unit size for the first 20,000 extents of a file. After the first 20,000 extent sets, the extent size becomes 8 times of allocation unit or 4 times of allocation unit in the version greater than 11.2. And the next 20,000 extents from 20,000 to 4,000 will have an extent size of 8 allocation units. The extent size will be 64 times of allocation unit for the extents above 40,000. In version 10G, the extent size is always equal to the allocation unit size. From version 11.1, we have a variable size extent where the extent size grows at a fixed extent